Hi, everybody. So thank you so much for coming to the Circle of Trust. I am Amy Contreras, a psychic medium. Those of you who are on this call have worked with me or are brand new and maybe have received a intuitive reading, but just a little background about me. I am a psychic medium, a wife, and a fur mom to two little British short hair kitties that are wild, and are we live here in Carlsbad, and I am a newlywed wife as of last year. So that's kind of exciting. But a little bit about my background and professional background is I'm a daughter of a psychic. And so I've had a great teacher for the last 45 years. But my clients really range from all sorts of new mothers, high level corporate superstars, attorneys, nurses, philosophers of the mind. I mean, I have a wide range of just really beautiful overachievers. I like to say overachievers with superpowers. But the last 5 years, I've been doing group coaching and live seminars and women's retreats, along with one-on-one spiritual coaching, just to facilitate people all over the world as they connect with their gift to find gifts, actually, to find their solid boundaries within their energy. Now, this is the most important thing I find. And I have given over hundreds of psychic readings professionally just to guide people through their blocks. We all have them in our body. And so I'm a trained holistic weight loss specialist. And how does this all connect? It's through energy. And so we get to choose daily our energy. So I just want to show you, let's see, I'll start on this is a few things that we are going to go through. And I'll share with you a little bit of why the circle of trust is so important. I created this webinar really because I strongly believe that if we separate ourselves from others' energies and stop feeling responsible, like we have to be these energetic mothers or healers to others, then we allow ourselves really permission to dismiss all the energy that no longer serves us. And then we are able to create that circle of protection, really. And we get to protect our own energy. So this is being the number one step that enforces all of our power to allow our gifts to really grow effortlessly and communicate with both our physical and spiritual body to connect to energy within without feeling like we have to be a multitasker. And therefore, we get so much done within ourselves. So what we're going to really go over and cover today is why the circle of trust. What the circle of trust is, the physical signs, the emotional signs, how to question to connect better. And that is to connect better to ourselves and to other people and to the energy itself. And also 3 simple ways to gain back your energy. You're going to be able to identify all the time wasters as well as how to support your BFF. Now, you're going to find who that BFF is, and you're going to probably be a little surprised. Then I'll kind of share a little bit about that full moon and the next 9 months. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you a new program that I am presenting that is brand new for everybody. So a little bit about me that I have already gone through, and here is the why. So why the circle of trust is so important. This is really just to stop feeling responsible for other people, right? We are so natural in our wanting to help everybody. You see somebody and it's almost like you attract because you could see their beautifulness, you could see their full potential, but then you want to nurture it so that they see it. And creating the circle of trust is really huge into stopping that. And communication, which communication is everything to me. I believe that when you can fully communicate exactly what you're feeling, what you're seeing, and what you're experiencing to yourself first, you'll be able to experience and communicate that with somebody else, which really just allows your gifts to grow in this exponential way. and therefore creating this circle of protection and creating this grounding method and really valuing yourself as being grounded. Now you're going to see that once you start to be grounded as, okay, I'm a part of this or universe and this is who I am. This feels really good. I am grounded in being here on earth. And I'll kind of go into that a little bit. You really start to feel like this power come back in your authority, and you're going to be really confident in your answers. Okay, this is deciphering and discerning my energy and their energy. So this is also being about going back to feeling responsible for other people's energies, and why the circle of trust is so important is because we are human beings and not human doers. So that way we can stop being this mother of all healers. I think the healing really has to do with this feeling of what does a healer really mean? And so I want to go into this molecule nucleus. Now, in your workbook that you should have received when you signed up, there is a diagram. So go to that circle diagram. Okay, and we're going to really look at what this molecular molecule is made up of. It's this protons within us, neutrons, and a strong force bond. That strong force bond is really going to get us into what we are energetically stuck onto. So if you look at the circle diagram, what are you letting in your circle of trust that doesn't feel safe within your energies? And everything is held together by that strong bond. And these cells run through our body and literally are holding energetic fields for your spirit information. So it is inside of you with this high frequency or low frequency. And that doesn't have anything to do with your worthiness. It's not whether or not you are worthy of this, you already have it. So it's shifting and altering your frequency to receive amongst this circle of your protons and neutrons to feel safe and identifying that discerningness. So this energetic exchange that you hold holds a blueprint for your future. And so our circle of trust will hold energy for lifetimes. And that is where the past life stuff comes from. You hold energy because it's something like a remembering. So it's so important to learn how to tap into these easy steps by learning to really normalize being in control and feeling safe within your energies. And then once you feel safe within your energies, all of the doors will open up to synchronize with other energy naturally. So let me give you an example. So this is really going to be if you're feeling any type of outside energy where that could feel you're feeling other people's anxiousness. This really is just opening up and identifying your body is feeling this first. As a holistic person, you're so full of like these energy centers. And so when you're opening yourself up, you're able to identify what's coming in by not dismissing it because it feels more settled and have more clarity too. So it's something that is like instant and you're like, I know what that is. So maybe you're tapped into other people's energies, but not tapped into your own source energy. And you're so plugged into other people's energies that's exhausting, right? It's absolutely exhausting. So being tapped into your own body and your own circle of trust, understanding those next steps are really going to get you out of being stuck to say yes to yourself and getting out of your own way and clearing the path of least resistance instead of just keep trying to push through. You'll receive this information quickly with direct messages from spirit as if it is second nature. I am so all about teaching this. I get so many times people are saying, I want to do what you do. Well, you absolutely probably are already doing it, but I want to show you and give you those tools. So if you want to learn how to get more connected to spirit, there's something I'll share at the end of this masterclass, exactly how you can go deeper. But first, this is a This is a teaching that I teach with all my one-on-one clients, because really, once you get down the basics of this foundation, you'll be able to see the blocks and what you're consenting to, and be more conscious of the right energy that you want to bring into your life, instead of being exhausted by the ones that you feel resistant on, that don't serve your greater higher good, but you're still forcing it upon yourself. It's like you're forcing yourself on these energies, and they're subtle and they're faint. And most people find that they have these energies they should trust within their family, but they don't. And their body is already telling them. So here is really, what energies are you showing up for? Are you emotionally and spiritually available for yourself? That is a big question, right? So ask yourself that right now. Ask yourself, are you spiritually or emotionally and emotionally available for yourself? I'm gonna take a sip. And here are some reasons why you might not be able to. So on a slide, really, it's about the fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, it's virtually impossible to hold space for other people in a healthy way, because you are running and you are avoiding. I bet, I mean, probably you could probably put your hands up right now, and I will even put my hands up too, because I have experienced this at one time. That is your body's natural alarm system. So you have this alarm that is really just, I mean, this is the first occurrence when anything is perceived as stressful, but not just stressful. In this first stage of fight or flight, this is your body telling you, hey, something's off. And then when you feel the resistance, which is that pull, that push, when you're pulled towards something, you are going to feel it in your body. You are going to feel this, and I'm going to go through the sounds in a little bit too, but this resistant is a physical sign and signal. So that is going to feel a little heavy in your chest. Maybe your heart rate increases. Maybe you're going to feel a little chest pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or even back pain. And that is a general body ache and pain, headaches, grinding your teeth, clenching your jaw. Imagine when you're around somebody and you're going through an experience and you're like, oh. So it's all of these subtle things, and maybe you have shortness of breath, or you're holding your breath because you don't want to exhale. It doesn't feel good. It's a physical sign. There is no coincidence that this is happening. So leaving you energetically on a short fuse for people's energy doesn't resonate with yours. So it's cyclical, and there's this pattern, and there's this blueprint of your life that you could lay down flat. But imagine what it would feel like if you had all the tools, all of the tools in the formula to stop that cycle right away consciously, and intentionally look at your circle and go, yes, no, yes, no. You know, that third stage of fight or flight and that exhaustion, I know that even sometimes I have to check myself, like, why am I spiritually exhausted? Oh my gosh, where is this coming from? What do I need? What is the pattern here? Or what is spirit telling me? I check myself as soon as I feel that too. That's spiritual exhaustion. So go ahead and look at your action guide right now and go to really just take a look. I want you to ask questions, okay? And this is how you are going to become your biggest, bestest friend by checking in. This is really just checking in. So if you don't have your action guide and you have a pen and paper, simply draw a circle. So I want you to look at yourself and ask, how am I showing up for myself? And then I want you to say, are you emotionally or spiritually available for yourself? No, why? If you feel yes, great. And write down how you are. Where do you support your own energy? Now, a lot of you who are on this call already support yourself spiritually to get those tools and tips and try to figure out how to do that where your frequency is aligning. That's great. We all get to learn this. And we get to ask ourselves questions. Again, are you exhausted all the time? In what areas are you exhausted? So right now, what do you need? And even if you say, what do I need? And you start asking yourself that in the habit of this in-depth personal question, you're really you're going to have something to offer everyone if you fulfill what you need for yourself. Just a little short story about myself. I was in fight or flight years ago, and it was impossible for me to be connection with my friends, with myself. I was escaping myself by throwing myself in the gym. I couldn't show up for myself whatsoever, except for this one thing. And this was an emotional, spiritual, everything escape when I was training for to do a bodybuilding competition. And I really couldn't even be emotionally there for my friends with their kids because I just couldn't support myself. I was in my spiritual closet trying to push everything away in my corporate job. And I actually I became afraid of people. It was really hard. So in return, I really just felt the need that um, all the downloads and all the information that I was getting patterns, and I started to support myself that way. I would pull over to the side of the road and start to write all the stuff down that I would start to see. And it really started to help once I started to support myself. The more love and support and nourishment of your own energy, really, you'll have more of yourself to share. And that's for everyone. So, it's really that I want to make this statement very important. Those people who are scared by what you're intuitively saying weren't even in your circle of trust, and you probably don't value them. So the people who are afraid of you, whether you are intuitively diving deep into what is going on, and I know I know your hands are up. I can feel it because there's been so many times where it's almost like they just go away on their own. It's like spirit just says, oh, this person isn't your highest greater good. I wish I would have come to realize that these people weren't in my circle of trust when I was in fight or flight, because it would have really saved a bunch of my time. I didn't find out until later. And that was when I decided to support myself and leave my current situation that I was in, fight or flight, because I just couldn't take it anymore. So we get to ask ourselves questions, and it is in my nature to ask questions. I love asking questions. So I started to connect more with myself, and I felt less crazy. I felt less weird. I felt more connected and grounded to myself as a whole being. I became really essentially my best friend tour guide through life. And all I needed was myself. I didn't need any outside validation whatsoever. And those crazy feelings, uh, being overstimulated and ungrounded, where I was over the top emotionally and all I could do was cry to try to express myself, subsided. I was a crier before. I just was so frustrated I would cry, and that's the only way that I could emotionally let it out, because I wasn't showing up any other way. So our physical signs are really, really wild, in my opinion, because it already shows you. So here's the circle of trust and where you're at. So where are you showing up for yourself? And are you spiritually and emotionally available? Are you to yourself? And if you're not, it's okay. Who's supporting you? Who's your support team? So in the middle circle, I want you to really just, let's illuminate this. Like, who is really draining your energy? So fill in the blanks here, along with the webinar or after the webinar, and in your circle of trust, put all the people. Just put all the people who are your main supporters in the middle, And I don't know if you could see my cursor. So your main supporters are in the middle. And these people don't judge you. They are your ride or die, men or women. They are your people. Now, the next circle closest to the middle, those people love you so much, but they're a little bit demanding, a little bit needy, a little negative, passive aggressive, you know the type, a little unaware. And they may come in forms of husbands, unfortunately, parents, and friends. They can be as close to you as relatives. And you're like, I don't want to put this down, but it's okay. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with those people who you have a bit of resistance around. Anything like that. And, your third layer, which is your outside layer, are those people who really just suck the life out of you. They are energy vampires. And what energy are you consenting to with these people? Are you consenting they don't communicate at all? They give you a guilt trip, or they gossip or manipulate you or dump all their toxic drama on you? Yuck, that never feels good. So anything that you're going to make any sounds with, like, or you see their text come through and your heart drops, or your stomach has a pit in it. All of these people really just suck you dry and exhaust your energy, even near or far. So this is going to be somebody who you are going to want to create better boundaries with. So here is the 3 layers. Your main supporters are energetically your circle of trust. There may only be one person in that. That's okay. That is totally, totally okay. You are going to need more boundaries in your second layer. This can be family, a little needy, up in your business. And the third layer is the energy vampires. These could be coworkers, neighbors, non-communicators, ghosters, and toxic drama. They are just going to be people you are going to energetically need more communication and boundaries. When you communicate more, that energy just is so much easier. So that second layer, you want to make sure you're not enabling just to make it easier. You need to pause to respond. So that's really the first step. The first step is really to pause to respond before you don't have a reaction. So when you pause, you're really sitting with, like, okay, I'm going to protect my energy by just not. When in doubt, don't, right? And then you'll find when you don't have that reaction, you can start to respond accordingly. The third layer, you are going to wait to respond at all costs. So if a family member is one of those energy vampires, and so often my clients always say, oh, it's my mom, or it's my uncle or cousin or somebody, sister, and I just can't with them. And it's really hard, but I have to because they're my family. No, you don't. You actually can wait when you're energetically grounded and protected within your energy to really have that solid support for yourself, right? So you're going to wait to respond at all costs until you are ready. So you can really say, I don't consent to your energy right now, and protect your own. And I want to say this loud and clear. You do not need to respond to people who give you anything other than joy, support, and happiness. Waiting to respond instead of react is an act of love. And you will always regain and call your energy and power back in the pause. There is a power in a pause. And I say that all the time. You'll hear me say power in a pause. I feel like I want to make a bumper sticker that says that, because this is so true. When you wait and you kind of sit back, you're like, oh, okay, I can definitely discover what's happening here. So here's the process. Here's a 3-step easy process. I'm going to take a sip. I love this because it's so simple and you can do this no matter what, even if you are out in public. Just put your hand over your heart and really just pause and ask yourself, what do I need? And this is just checking in. I call it the P check, power check, power in the pause check. And you're just going to say, stop pushing against that resistance you're feeling. Do you feel the resistance? I'm sure you can think of all the different times you have felt that resistance. Now, that is going to really just help you to get grounded, help you to detach, and then when you're just seeking where you're stuck, excuse me, tongue twister, and going back to the basics. So you're going to ground and see your patterns. So always go back to the basics. Always go back to grounding and protecting your bubble. So we're going to go deep into connecting with ourselves in the program I'm going to share with you over the course of 16 weeks. But really, this is that power of the pause and finding that first step. Now, step 2 is the awareness questioning. Okay, so take up space. What energy are you consenting to? This is a big one. What energy are you consenting to? Emotional, physical, and spiritual. And are you taking it as your own? Communicate honestly. If this is going to be your internal self to create this awareness so you can identify the triggers. So your body is the most intelligent. It is so intelligent in every possible way. And this really has, if you're pushing or pulling, if you're eye rolling or making a sound of ah or oh, and those sounds are telling you, they are telling you the intelligence. Your body's already telling you, pay attention to your body. Again, going back to becoming your own BFF so that you know all the ins and outs. I mean, how often have you participated in your body and not paid attention to anything? When you start to listen to the sounds that come out of it, it really is amazing. And you're going to find that you're going to be able to communicate honestly, internally, saying, what am I consenting to emotionally? Am I consenting to that person who I'm still making an oh sound or uh-oh or eat, all of these sounds, and they don't feel right from the beginning? Or maybe some spiritual energy, like spiritually, if somebody is spiritually interfering with your space and you step back to give them more space, you're not actually giving yourself space to create your own awareness or to see your own triggers. It's sometimes even you're taking on your own physical stuff, like somebody's physically showing anger, which is emotional, but they're also, you feel it. It's like a spiritual, emotional, and physical assault that you're taking on as your own. And that is not led with love. So shifting those energies by saying these specific words, and these work so well. I do not consent to this. I do not consent to this energy. This is leading with love and just going into this highest source of universal energy. Love is everything. Love is everything, and fear is an egomaniac. So fear takes over that ego. So learning to be aware of what you consent to in 2 different things. Every decision is made from love or fear, which is ego. So is this of love? That is what you're going to ask. Is this energy coming from me? And am I the toxic equation? You can ask that too. A simple energetic shift, really, I do not consent to this, I choose love, is going deeper. It's a deeper dive into choosing you. And that's a really powerful compass as you are saying, I choose love on this earth. You're not powerless at all. Never think that you're powerless. You are always full of power. Again, going with the physical traits and triggers, your triggers of sounds, or oh, ah, eh. It's feel the pushing and pulling in your body. It's a physical pain. It's really that lack of vision. Have you ever had blurry vision at times? You're going to feel that. So if you're feeling anything, clenched jaw, nodded head, if you're nodding your head no already, or yes, watch people, just see their triggers, see what they're saying. You can even see if somebody's telling the truth. And that's actually a big one, where you're seeing somebody's body language. And if you are also, they're telling a story and they're shaking their head no, and then you take that on as yourself because it's subconscious, right? Then you pay attention to yourself. Wait, I don't believe this. This isn't mine. Or if you feel anxious or sick to your stomach or paralyzed in fear around people, going to places, and really that is just, how are you going to make yourself feel more at peace? So do you end up doing this anyways, even just trying to appease somebody? That's a big one. And just because you don't want to make a big deal over it, that's tough, right? And I know, I'm sure we've all done that at some point in time, but does it serve our highest greater good? No, it really doesn't. You know, it's about, what if you're at a grocery store and the clerk is rude and total a-hole and leaves you feeling like spiritually and verbally, emotionally as assaulted, and you kind of get in your car and you're like, what just happened? I was in such a great mood. Remember that those energies are not yours. You can say, I do not consent to them, and get grounded, wait to respond, and remember, it's not about you. Just take a sip. So emotionally getting yourself into control, emotionally waiting to know when to respond instead of react, is a huge time saver. Huge time saver. And this will help you from really unraveling, and that unraveling and spiraling really is creating more drama. So if you can't emotionally express yourself with communication and words, of course you're going to cry. You're going to spiral and analytically spiral and just constantly think those whys, why, and get so emotionally exhausted and being emotionally done and not available for yourself first and then for others. You're spent. And really that is your body picking up a vibe. I just want to share a quick story about this. I'll never forget, when I was 18, I was working in a natural store and there was spirit knocking at my door, at my closet door, that I kept trying to close because it kind of scared me. It was really heavy. There was lots of downloads and lots of people talking to me and I felt crazy. And it was really hard. I didn't understand what was going on, but there was a coworker who I just didn't jive with. He made my skin crawl, and I could feel this kid a few blocks away driving up, and I would count the seconds till he walked up the door. I would get chicken skin and and he was just an absolute manipulator to the nth degree. I remember looking at the clock and seeing all the synchronicities, and it would be 1:11, which I always knew because I was like, he was late and I was the manager. And I'd be ringing somebody up and the cash register would come up to 555. So many synchronicities. Then on the radio, it would be, as soon as he'd open up the door, liar, liar, pants on fire. I mean, really, My intuition was giving me physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual signs. Spirit was yelling at me. I could hear, stay away from him. I didn't trust him at all. But where was this stay away from him coming from? It wasn't in the voice of my voice, but I dismissed it and then spent hours at work trying to figure out his why and what was going on with his life that made him this way. I found myself over appeasing this dude to not be energetically bullied or make a big deal out of it. And so I'd find myself in the cooler sometimes trying to escape with the veggies and, just it was escape him so I can unground from his energy and unplug because I was so frazzled. And I would find myself just trying to do anything, and so much time would be wasted until I would go home. And that just really throughout my life, I'd seen these patterns happen over and over until I opened up my spiritual closet and chose to say yes to the callings and understand what I've learned on Earth School. And that's what we're doing. We're here really to learn at Earth School what these patterns are and to identify them. So I've incorporated my course to show really this power back to really live your high level spiritual conscious life in an everyday capacity. So you can stop these situations from happening, and they happen in really monotonous activities too, by one-on-one pausing, 2, asking what you're consenting, and 3, leading with love, really just kind of leading. I only consent to love. And that's even a word you can say, I only consent to love. And really see the triggers of the energy of where it starts to leak and where it begins. So wouldn't it feel really amazing just to be so tapped into your body that you became uber aware of everything, which I'm sure you are already, but how to decipher that and how to decipher all of your physical triggers. And when you start to resist them, or have a reaction, wouldn't that feel amazing to be so tapped in? I think so. I think that it would be sensational. So here is the thing. Spirit is knocking. And would you like to feel the confidence of being absolute discernment in your trust and your energy, in your intuition and your decisions? Because right now, maybe you've dissed that gut feeling and avoided speaking up. Or maybe you simply just dissed these synchronicities and you've been seeing these patterns of where you're stuck. And you've just dismissed it. That's natural, so natural. And it's really just finding the time and having the confidence in where you're at right now as a person and seeing this. You have a blueprint to your soul. So when my clients and I sit together, we will map out a blueprint to the patterns individually on a one-on-one basis. Somebody can open up and talk about 3 different subjects and say, Amy, I have no idea why I just told you that. And I always reassure them that their synchronicity of pattern, spirit is guiding them to see this and recognize it, to see where you're trapped. And so it's how you discover it on your own is really important. I always want to make sure that I give somebody the tools to show them that there's always a default pattern that they dismiss or ignore their own energetic feeling. But if you're tapped into it, into somebody else, you're tapping into theirs. So you're actually psychically tapping into somebody else. And you're a psychic and you don't even know it. So at the end of this webinar, again, I'm going to share as we deep dive into the patterns of a community full of like-minded individuals that, they want to be seen as, the thing is as you have these gifts and you don't know how to use it, you feel a little like an outsider. identifying some of these patterns that you might be ignoring, you'll find that other people might be ignoring it too. So it's really just creating that relationship with your spirit team and never feeling like you've been abandoned, and really knowing that alignment. Creating this spiritual frequency and aligning to that with your body first is just absolutely sensational. Once you do align yourself with your body, mind, and spirit, you will be able to create relationships with yourself, knowing that you are worth breaking these cycles with your family karma, and also thriving in a really radiant energy center where you know where the energy is going. You know where your body is, because your energy is precious and I want you to use it wisely. And that is really also going to bring us to this full moon too. This full moon in Virgo a few days ago, I think, what is it, 19th now, is all about just where you want to go in the next 9 months of 2022. Being able to speak to yourself and avoid the things that don't make you feel good is an act of self-care that you're being called to rally and just really to up level, creating a better relationship with yourself, and also not dismissing these gut feelings. It's huge. It's also not letting yourself feel like you're festering, being super observant, just knowing that this is one of those moons that the synchronicities are absolutely there. They're all over. It's like the veil has cleared. And when you're in flow, you're able to illuminate with this full moon too what's important. And you're going to want to connect to source, and turning up your self-care for your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual body is going to bring this urge to really help you to serve others. And it's such a beautiful moon. I mean, this really has to do with your emotions. And it's almost like you're saying enough is enough. So illuminate what you want to cultivate over the next 9 months. Listen to the wonderment fully around you, and to break these patterns, you can ask within this time frame, still in the moon, where you want to commit deeper to yourself. And then that shows up as your self-care. Where do you want to commit deeper in your life, where you want to make a priority, and feeling that completely. So this full moon is everything. And you're going to also want to do maybe a act of ritual. The act of ritual is an act of self-love, and you can get a bowl of water and even take a flower of some sort and take all the petals. And as you are stirring the water in this bowl, put all the petals of what you want to release. What's not serving you in your circle of trust? What is it, the people that you want to not consent your energy to? That is going to be a big bond breaker so that you can start to move forward with your energy, and so that you stop consenting to what doesn't feel good. So make that change now to commit to connecting deeper to yourself today. Answer the calls, answer all the synchronicities, write them down, identify. Stuff is happening. That's why you're on this call anyways, right? Because there is some stuff. There's some stuff that you're trying to figure out. So I want to tell you about the Spiritual Blueprint. It's a 16-week program. This is something that I have created with Spirit, and it has been a beautiful transition for people. I've been doing this for about a year and a half. And this is all new. This has changed, and this is going to now be 16 weeks. So it's not something that takes a ton of time, but the time that you do get to take with it, you can binge a month. We're going to have monthly live calls. And so here are the bonuses. I'm going to tell you what it's included and what the bonuses are. So the bonus currently is you get a sacred contract. You're going to also get an altar of devotion. I'm going to show you how to really make an altar and have it work for you. And an altar that is in a space that really is called, that it's your best place to go to every day, that you look forward to wanting to go there. And we create that and share that in our mastermind as well. Then I'm going to personally do a food energetic report specific for you. Now that is really going to help you to get into your alignment and also feed, what is going to get you emotionally, physically, and spiritually ready to receive everything along with the astrology of this. And then you're going to receive a self-love to intuition guide. So these are my bonuses, and it doesn't stop there because you get actually 4 1-hour calls with me. This is really exciting. This is something that I've never offered before. And the first month is all about seed to soul body nourishment. We're going to focus on really aligning the body's frequency with food, because I have a passion for food and finding that balance and feeling good in your body so you can amp up your energy levels just only becomes more clear, and you become a channel for your intuition and vitality. So you're going to start feeling better within your energy, as well as creating a wellness where you are going to be able to create an awareness in your body and fill up your well and identify all the things in your lower vibration. So you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good. Even with food, even with what you're eating, oh, this isn't something that I need, because we're going to awaken the body and then also energize and feed the soul. So there are a few things that I'm going to go through with that, but it's 4 weeks. And in that month, we will have a mastermind as well. So we'll be able to share what's going on, what you're finding is to be true. And in month 2, we go through all about worthiness, family karma, and soul healing. I love this one because this has to do with boundaries at a deeper level, and the boundary foundations of everything. So there is a lot packed in all of these months. So you could go through and binge it on a weekend, each of the weeks. You could do it by week or every week. But month 2 is all about owning your worth and staying in your body and being present, and then releasing the karma that's holding you back. So we go through in depth all of the types of boundaries that there are, the subtle boundaries, the harsh boundaries, the narcissist, and how to work with all these boundary people that you might come across. When I tell you that this month is packed full of goodies, I'm saying these 16 weeks are, you're going to want to go in and you're going to want to download. You're going to want to put all this stuff in a folder and keep it, and you will have this forever. But you have to go in, you have access for 16 weeks, and then 4 months, which is 4 months. And then you get to go through and really, collectively have this stuff forever, because it's creating a blueprint for your life. So in month 3, we connect to the soul and your intuition and spirit guides. This is a blast. And I know that it seems like you have to wait 3 months. Trust me when I say this, you're already going to be doing this. Before then, this is just going to be one that you're developing and understanding all of your intuition, all of your super gifts, your supernatural powers, and your psychic abilities, because we really lay the groundwork with your intuition and how to use it, how to trust it, and how to do some fun exercises and practice doing readings and doing different things like that. Now, this is something that I will say you have to go through the foundational learnings of all this first, because if you don't know this, I've had this where I've changed this up a little bit. People always go back to the circle of trust, which wasn't offered before. Now it's going to be in there, it's going to be available, you're going to understand it, you're going to know how to use it, and you're already ready. So, month 4. Month 4 is about tapping into your soul's gifts and then revealing your blueprint. So we'll be creating your blueprint and your spiritual soul blueprint, stepping into the healing and integration and how you connect with your authentic self, your guides to discover this soul prosperity, to find the guidance in your life's gifts. This is going to be, again, something that is going to be unfolding for the rest of your life, but you have the tools to integrate into this and gain a level of just understanding and consciousness. And this is a mastermind of women who grow and expand together. I feel so confident. I love the confidence that people have bonded within each other. And everybody who always joins around the same month together has all these synchronicities. Like, I've had people who have joined this and they had the same birthday. 3 people had the same birthday on 1 month. I was like, what? And it used to be 3 months. Now it's 4, because I really needed to put these boundaries in there so that people would understand that. It's phenomenal. So you get these monthly online virtual sessions, and it's about 1 to 2 hours, just so we can go over the questions and sharing and accountability and support with everybody. Then you have the monthly content, as well as you're going to really learn my true process of developing your spiritual blueprint. And as a living and breathing expression of truly of who you are. And it's just going to be very intimate. I only take a very, very intimate number of people. Really, I take only 6 people each course. So you're going to receive 4 sessions with me one-on-one, just to interpret and validate and go through all those things that you had questions about throughout the month. So I'm going to invite you to really check out the Spiritual Blueprint website. You'll receive an email after this webinar. You can check it out, see what you think. If you have any questions, please let me know. But most of my life, I've prided myself really on being an amazing multitasker and a doer of all. But in my career and past life as an outside sales rep and competitive athlete, as soon as I had to monotask, like driving, my downloads would flood in like a lightning storm. So much I would pull over, like I said, and I would have to write it down. But with that being said, my number 1 spirit team has always been there for me. And so I'll teach you how to focus clearly on monotasking for focus, consistency, and raising your frequency without being scattered and getting so much more done and having more time for yourself. Not only for yourself, but for your family and for you to pay attention instead of being the multitasker, overdoer, or overachiever. So you're really going to see how to stop ignoring the signs and signals and really figure out other people's energies and who you don't even know you can really stay away from with the guidance of your own triggers, your own spiritual voices and whispers. So we're really just going to focus on this group to really prepare you to feel seen and heard and empowered in a group together of like-minded individuals, and put the pieces together for you so that you feel really clear, you gain clarity and feel less weird or less crazy. So this time is now. If you are interested, again, you're going to get an email, but you're really going to get the calls. If you don't answer it now, the callings are going to get louder and louder. And so until you pick up the phone, really it's your spirit team is asking for your help, and they're on speed dial. So until you pick up the phone, they're going to keep calling like they did myself 2 years ago. But I know you have the gifts and I know that you're ready. So this is really been such a great time to get to know other people. I know that those people feel alienated just like yourself too. And I just really want to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for uh, listening to this. If you have any questions, I'm going to stop the recording now. And thank you so much.